I'm working late this week, so welcome once again to the spare room. ISIS, the cave-dwelling goat fuckers, are in the news a lot at the moment, but mainly because they are having the absolute shit blown out of them by the coalition forces. But tonight I'm going to talk about a few stories of British people who've gone to join ISIS. There was a story a few weeks ago about a British woman. She left the country a few years ago. She went over to the IS Caliphate, and since then she had been trying to radicalise people against the West and encouraging terrorist attacks here in the UK. What a fucking bitch. And it turns out she's been killed in a drone strike. And I heard that and I thought, oh, that's a shame, isn't it? And then last night I was watching the news, and this week I'm watching ITV news because Lucy Verasamy is doing the weather. Watching the news, and they had a feature about British people who've been fighting for the Islamic State, so-called IS. And there's up to 400 people have left this country to fight for the cave-dwelling goat fuckers. And predictably, they were asking, what should we do about these people? And there's some fucking liberal on there going, well, what needs to happen is they need to be brought back to Britain where they can have a fair trial and be sent to prison if they're found guilty. And I thought, shut your fucking mouth, you lefty fucking prick. We do not need these cunts back in this country in our prisons radicalising the next set of empty-headed fucking half-wits with an axe to grind against the West. Another reason is that in the UK it costs £40,000 a year somehow to keep someone locked up. Now, if I was running the prison system, I could get that down to a couple of £100. I'd get rid of a lot of the luxuries like the pool tables, the gyms, the PS4, the television, the electricity, the heating, and catering's a big cost. I'd get rid of that as well. Basically, once a week, throw a packet of seeds in through the cell door, where you can grow what you fucking eat. And if you need fertiliser, well, you're shitting in a bucket. If I was running the prison system, it would be a proper deterrent, and Louis Theroux and Ross Kemp would want to fucking team up to do the documentary. But anyway, we don't want these IS fuckers in our prisons. But don't worry, I've come up with a much simpler and cheaper way to deal with the problem. All the Brits who are over there fighting for IS, why don't we send the SAS, the SBS, Royal Marine Commandos, and the Paratroop Regiment, all of our elite special forces, to go and blow their fucking heads off. Bullets are much cheaper. We don't want the fuckers back here. And if you're one of those liberal bastards who go, oh no, they need to be treated humanely, fucking shoot you as well. Actually, even better idea. Let's get all the British IS types, let MI5 have a bit of fun with them for a few weeks, then take the fuckers back to Syria. To the villages which were full of rape and murder by IS, and we'll hand these fuckers over and go, do what you like, just make sure you film it and put it on the internet. They're from the Middle East, fuck it, they're going to do that automatically, aren't they? Yeah, so there you go, I've solved that. On a much lighter note, I said at the start of this that I'm watching ITV News because Lucy Verasamy is doing the weather, and I do this in a spare room, and obviously you can't see much, the door in is there, and this wall above where my phone is, I've got some pictures up on the wall, and because I've got a weird sense of humour, there's one picture you can only see it when you're actually sat on the bed. So when we have guests come and say, it's actually this picture, which is Lucy Verasamy from ITV Weather, and the sole purpose of it being up in here is that when guests come round, they'll go, why the fuck is there a picture of a weather girl up on the wall? Anyway, just to finish this off, I'm a happily married man, but Lucy Verasamy, I quite like a go on her.